Hi everyone. Hopefully your preparation is going well. These are the questions we are going to try in today's episode. If you have tried these questions, then go ahead and watch the solutions and discussion related to it, which will be starting right away. And if you have not tried it, we'll recommend you to try it once before you watch the solutions. Before we start discussing the solution, let me take a moment to introduce some fascinating courses at Macquarie. Simply visit our website and check the plethora of options we provide for CAT, GMAT, and other aptitude test preparation. We strongly believe in providing flexibility and convenience to students as per the requirements. You will have an option to either take a full course or learn exactly what you need to. For instance, if you plan to prepare one-to-one live with mentor, you can book sessions for only doubt clearing or even just for analyzing your mocks. Even for CAT preparation, if you don't need the one-to-one guidance, the mocks, the mock analysis, the workshops, or the GDPI, which are actually included in the comprehensive course, and you just want to train for specific topics of your choice, then simply select a capsule from these numerous options which are available to you. It will cover everything from basics to all variations and applications of the topic under study. Take a trial or book a demo with us and select the course which best suits your needs. Let's now continue with today's video and enjoy the solution and discussion related to it. This is a question very similar to a CAT question that appeared very recently. We are multiplying three consecutive positive integers and getting the product as 15,600. When you are multiplying three consecutive positive integers, then the number should be very close to a perfect cube. Let me explain that. So suppose I take the numbers as n minus 1, n, and n plus 1. So if I multiply these two, or these three rather, n minus 1 into n plus 1 will be n square minus 1. And that multiplied to n will be nothing but n cube minus n. So I hope you can observe that this n cube minus n will be pretty close to this n cube because comparatively n cube is larger or much larger for bigger numbers, that is, compared to n. So for example, even if you take something like 10 cube minus 10, this is almost 10 cube, right? It's 1000 minus 10. We are going to utilize this idea. So first of all, my target is to take an approximate cube root of this number. So just observe this 1000 part. So 15,000. Of course, if we take a cube root of that, 8,000 cube root will be 20, and 27,000 cube root will be 30. So since this is falling in between 8,000 and 27,000, so this cube root will be definitely 20 something, right? So 20 plus whatever. I don't care about the remaining part. So this is roughly 20 something. And secondly, this is the interesting idea here. Since we have couple of zeros out here, so this should be definitely a multiple of 10 square, right? So if it is a multiple of 10 square, 10 square is nothing but 2 square into 5 square. So we need to have a 5 square here. Now, in the range of this 20 something, so think about a multiple of 5 square. 5 square is 25, right? So the only thing that we get, which is a multiple of 25 in this 20 range, is 25 itself. So one of the three numbers that we are multiplying must definitely be 25. That much I think you can figure out within 10 seconds if you think it in this way. One part being the cube root of it, and the second part being observing that the number is ending with a couple of zeros. So what are the possibilities? So since there are three consecutive positive integers, it could be something like 24 into 25 into 26. It could be 23 into 24 into 25. And it could be 25 into 26 into 27. These are the three possibilities that we have. Now let's analyze each and every one of them. First thing, which I can immediately eliminate is this possibility. Being the reason being 23 is not a factor of 15,600. I mean, if you know that 156 is 12 into 13, then you will anyhow get the answer straight away. But 23 is definitely not a factor of this 15,600. So you can eliminate this possibility. Similarly, we can find that 27 is not a factor of this. It's not a multiple of 9 even. I mean, 156 is a multiple of 3, but it is not a multiple of 9. So how can it be multiple of 27? There is another way to figure this out. If you remember the initial analysis, this 15600 ends with couple of zeros. So it should have a 2 square in it as well. Now in this 25 into 26 into 27, we are just having one power of 2 from 26. No more powers of 2 are here. So there are multiple ways to eliminate this possibility as well. So the only thing left out is 24 into 25 into 26, and that should be our answer. Not the answer as such. I mean, the numbers that we are multiplying to get the 15,600. Now we are looking for the sum of the squares of these integers. So let's think about the smartest way to do this. So let me just take everything off. So we are trying to get 24 square plus 25 square plus 26 square. Now avoiding too much of calculation. So this 24 square, I'm going to write it as 25 minus 1 whole square. I'll leave it at 25 square, this one, and I'll write this as 25 plus 1 whole square. Now this is giving us 25 square. This is also giving us 25 square. And here also we have a 25 square, right? So that will give me 325 squares. Here we'll get a 1 square in positive. Here also we'll get a 1 square in positive. So we'll get extra plus 2. But the 2 into 25 into 1 and the 2 into 25 into 1 will have opposite sign in these two expansions. So that will cancel out. So the end result will be this thing only. 25 square is 625 into 3 is 1875 plus 2 will be 1877. And that should be the answer to this problem. We don't have that in the option. So the answer should be none of these. This is a problem in which if you are aware of certain powers of 5 and 3, it becomes a little simple to solve. In our simplifying calculation part, I have discussed a lot of these powers, basic powers, not very high powers, especially of single digit natural numbers. So what I mean by that is powers of 2, powers of 3, powers of 5, powers of 7. To a certain extent, not very high. The reason being, I mean, powers of 6 are nothing but combinations of 2 and 3. Powers of 4 is basically powers of 2 square. Powers of 8 is also powers of 2 cube. And powers of 9 are powers of 3. So if you know the powers of 2, 3, 5, 7, the prime numbers, single digit prime numbers, and then you can utilize this in a lot of different questions. So in this particular problem, our perspective are power of 5 and power of 3, right? So I am assuming that x and y are integers. You start with certain powers of 3 and 5 that you're aware of. Now, a couple of things that I've discussed in our classes, I'll start with that. So 3 to the power 6 is nothing but 9 cube is nothing but 27 square. So if you remember 3 to the power 6 is as good as 9 cube. It's as good as 27 square. So you remember all of these in one go. And that is nothing but 729. So this much you should be definitely comfortable with. 5 to the power 4 similarly is 25 square, which is 625. So these two things you should be comfortable at. 3 to the power 6, which is 729, and 5 to the power 4, which is 625. So now let us look at the problem. So we have 5 to the power x. We subtract a 3 to the power y from that, and we are getting this 1, 3, 4, 3, 8, right? So first objective, this 5 to the power x should definitely be more than this 1, 3, 4, 3, 8, right? So let's think about a power of 5, which is more than this 1, 3, 4, 3, 8. So 5 to the power 4 is known to us. So let's work with that. 5 to the power 5, 5 into 625 is 3125. So that is still lower than this number. If I take 5 to the power 6, 3 into 5 is 15, and 125 into 5, that is 625. So this is greater than this 13438, right? So let's try to justify whether this is possible or not. So now the question is, how much should be subtracted from 15625 to get this 13438? On the other hand, you can just simply subtract this 13438 from the 15625 to get this number again, right? So let's do that. So we can just take a subtraction here and we get 2187, right? So this should be 2187. Now the thing is, this should be a power of 3, right? This 2187. Those who have done simplifying calculation with us, you will recognize this 2187 immediately. Those who have not done it, no issues. Look at this 3 to the power 6, that is 729. So just multiply a 3 to that and you get 3 to the power 7. 7 into 3 is 21 and 29 into 3 is actually 87. So this is 3 to the power 7. So effectively what we now know is this thing is 5 to the power 6, 15625, and this thing is 3 to the power 7, which is this 2187, right? So the x is 6 and the y is 7, giving us a result of 6 plus 7 as 13. In this problem, we are looking for how many of these set X do not contain any multiples of 10. Now, if you think about this 5 is useless, right? In this particular set. If you try to analyze how many sets are there, even in that, the 5 is just a constant, right? When the n is ranging from 2 to 80, only these terms are going to change. The 5 is never going to change. So just ignore the 5. Simply think about the n minus 1, the n, and the n plus 1. Just think about these three terms while n is ranging from 2 to 80. Now, let us try to understand how to approach this in the simplest manner. So since we are looking for how many of these do not contain any multiples of 10, and it is not easy to directly think that. So let us rather think about how many does contain multiples of 10, and then we'll subtract that from the overall cases. First thing, when n is ranging from 2 to 80, that are 79 possibilities. And all those 79 possibilities are going to give us a new set, right? Because the n will change accordingly, the n minus 1 will change, the n plus 1 will change. So each of these three terms are going to change, giving us a new set in every different value of n. So these are the number of possibilities of the set, and the grand total possibilities, that is. And from here, we are going to subtract those possibilities where we have a multiple of 10. So let's do it in the simplest of manner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up a multiple of 10. So let's start with 10 itself. So where can I assign this 10? Since we are going consecutive, n is ranging from 2 to 80, consecutive numbers. So I can try to assign this 10 to this, or to this, or to this. What I mean by that is, if I take n minus 1 as 10, then n is equal to 11, which is acceptable. I can take the n as 10 directly, which is also acceptable. I can also take n plus 1 as 10, in which case n is 9, which is also acceptable. So any multiple of 10 in this range, I can try and assign it to n minus 1, n, or n plus 1. So the first question is, how many multiples of 10 are there in the range? So we have 10, 20 up to 80, right? So we have 8 different multiples. In an ideal scenario, each of these should have been occupied by all of the three, n minus 1, n, and n plus 1, right? So similarly, 20 could have been assigned to each of these, but always look for the extreme cases. For example, the lowest one and the highest one. Now, in this case, the 10 is not an issue at all, because the value of n can start from 2. Think about the upper extreme. So think about this 80. So if I assign this 80 to n minus 1, that is an issue, because if I take n minus 1 as 80, then n becomes 81, which is actually not possible. But n is equal to 80. I can take the n as 80. This is allowed. And I can also take the n plus 1 is equal to 80, because in that case, n is 79, which is also part of this range, right? So this is also allowed. Only thing, this is not allowed. So had all the multiples of 10, so 8 multiples of 10, if we could have assigned all of these 8 multiples, each of these 8 multiples to the 3 of these possibilities, n minus 1, n, and n plus 1, we would have had these many possible values that are allowed, right? So there would have been 24 possibilities which would have been allowed. But since we are not having this case, so n minus 1 cannot take up 80, that case is not allowed. So just subtract this one, and we have 23 possible cases in which x has a multiple of 10. So these are the cases in which x has a multiple of 10, right? So we are supposed to not count them up. So the final answer should be 79, all the cases here, minus these 23 cases, which results in 56 allowable values of n. So that is option A in this case. It's a pretty straightforward question. I mean, most of you might have already figured this out yourself. So when I'm looking for the last digit of this, by the way, when you have this number, this is 214 into 214 and so on. The 21 and the 21 is not impacting the last digit at all. So the last digit comes from this 4 into 4 into 4, however number of times we have in the problem, right? So the last digit of this will be obtained by 4 to the power 875. And if you look at the cycle, so 4 to the power 1 ends with a 4, then 4 square is actually ending with a 6, and then 4 cube is nothing but 4 into 4 square, which should end with 4 into 6, and that is nothing but 24. So again ends with a 4. So there's a cycle of 2 for this. Any odd power of 4 ends with a 4, and any even power of 4 ends with a 6, right? So in this case we have an odd power, so this should have a last digit of 4. So that is the first part. Similarly, you can calculate for the second part. You have 149 to the power 124. So that is nothing but 9 to the power 124. Same logic. The 14 is not going to impact the last digit any which way. Again, if you check the cycle of 9, so 9 to the power 1 is ending with a 9. 9 square ends with a 1. So if it ends with a 1, 9 cube should end with a 9 again, right? Because 9 cube is nothing but 9 into 9 square. So this also has a cycle of 2. After every 2 powers, you're getting the same last digit here. So in this case, when power of 9 is 1 or odd, so 1 or 3, something like this, it ends with a 9. And the power is, if the power is even, it ends with a 1, right? So in this case, the power is even. So this should have a last digit of 1. So these are the couple of last digits. We are adding these two numbers. So the result, whatever are the preceding digits, doesn't matter. When you add these two, it should end with a 5. That is option C in this case. Hopefully you liked the solutions we provided for these questions. And if you did like it, do not forget to like the video and share, subscribe, and comment. And if you plan to prepare with us in a structured manner, then do check the courses in our website. In the CAT comprehensive course, you will not only be prepared for each topic for CAT, XAT, NMAT, SNAP, IFT, but you will also have a one-to-one guidance and doubt clearing throughout your preparation. The workshops, mocks, and sectional tests will prepare you for strategy and decision making in the tests. The GDPI WAT preparation is also included in the course, making it a one-stop preparation hub for CAT and other management entrance tests of India. Take a trial of this course and check the way we have trained before you make the actual purchase. For both CAT as well as GMAT, we also offer the option to attend the classes live and one-to-one with mentor. Depending on whether you are preparing for CAT or GMAT, check the relevant course among these two. You will have the option to take the full course or customize the sessions as per your requirement. For instance, you may purchase the hours for just doubt clearing or mock analysis or any specific topic. Simply book a demo with us and have an experience of our one-to-one sessions. We also have mini courses, which we call the capsules, customized for you to select specific areas and train yourself. For each specialized area of training, you will be trained everything from basics to all types of applications and variations of that particular topic. If you are looking to strengthen your understanding of specific areas of any section, which are tested in CAT, GMAT, or any other aptitude tests, then this will be the perfect course for you. Each capsule will have video lessons as well as practice sets covering all areas of that topic with video explanation of each question that are discussed in the practice sets. Every course at Mathoratory is designed to provide flexibility and complete support as per students' requirement. We will always be there to guide you and help you prepare as best as we can. Simply visit our website and check the relevant course. Book a demo with us or take a trial of the course and make the right choice as per your need. Thank you for joining in and have a pleasant preparation ahead.